Okie dokie. Hopefully that's all good and we are up and running once more. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Disgustingly Resilient Podcast Live. I suppose not really an episode, it's just a live one. Another event recap. So I know I've been doing a fair bit of these recently, but been a busy boy going to a fair few events. I'm just on my Todd today, so it's just going to be me as we go through the games as usual, all that kind of stuff. Just very briefly before we get into it, do let me know the audio is okay in the chat, and also hello to chat. Again, feel free to talk and join and ask questions during all this. I'm more than happy to answer questions, all that kind of stuff. On top of that, if you enjoy what you're seeing, please do not forget to leave a like and a subscribe if you aren't subscribed. And if you really like it, consider becoming a member. And we have a Discord for members to join. You become a Plague Marine. And we've just had a giveaway sort of wrap up there. So I'll announce the winner live in a minute. Or after probably round one or so. But we're going to put up another giveaway quite quickly to sort of, try and keep the ball rolling and give something back to you guys. Obviously, very exciting week coming up. We're thinking, hopefully, the data slate is going to be tomorrow. That is obviously the kind of going rumour that is usually every Thursday. So that'd be really cool to see. Obviously, high expectations for the data slate. Obviously, with Pariah Nexus, going to mix up a lot of things. Hoping to get myself, Dave, and Will back together so we can discuss that one. Obviously, slight concerns coming with the Sisters Codex looking as good as it is. Hopefully the slate addresses that before it becomes a problem, because I don't want to have 3 months of Sisters domination or 6 months, whatever it's going to be. But time will tell. For now, we're not going to worry about it too much until we get all the information, we get the slate. So for now, we'll obviously focus on our little doubles event here. So I went over the Sunday it was on to the Element Legends event at obviously Element Games in Stockport. If you don't know it, then it's a big sort of like hobby centre up north. They do tons of, it's a great shop. We actually now have like an affiliate link with them as well, so I'll put that in at some point. But they hosted a doubles event, so doubles is obviously a bit different to your standard singleton events, a bit different in the rules and how army construction works. But it's a really good fun event. It was hosted well. It all went smoothly. It was quite nice. But yeah, let's get into basically what is a doubles event first before we get into the actual event. So, doubles event, for people that don't know, just in case there's some people that do not know, a doubles event is basically what happens when we decide to play a game of 2v2. So 2 players are on a team. They have to bring different armies to each other, but they both bring a 1,000 point list. But you will play together at the same time on the same table as 1 2k force. Now, there are some limitations. You don't share buffs with each other. So if I have an aura that gives, like Mortarian aura, for example, reroll 1 to wound an aura, that will still only affect Death Guard models. So you can't really buff your opponent and your teammate in that way. And the same applies to them. They can't buff you either. You also share command points, so you don't get 1 command point each at the start of every turn. You get 1 command point between you to share, and therefore you have to, work as a team. Maybe you want to save a command point for a rapid ingress, but they really want to use one for an offensive strat. You really got to communicate with each other and talk about what you want to do. Yeah, Sam Boardman, yeah. Okay, so to clarify, you're supposed to bring different armies. Now, what defines an army is the book you draw the models from. So we had a couple of teams show up who were running double Marines, which technically is not allowed because they both pull from the Space Marine book. So they get to do double Marines. But it wasn't really a big issue, but it probably shouldn't have been allowed in reality. But it's a fun event at the end of the day, so no one really cares too much about it. But do be aware that Marines of all types, because you all pull from the same initial codex as Space Marine, Adeptus Astartes codex, that does technically count as one. So if you have Blood Angels and Dark Angels, you are still both playing Adeptus Astartes as the share faction keyword. So technically that shouldn't be allowed, even though we had some Blood Angels, Black Templars, and there were sort of Salamanders and Dark Angels, something like that. But whatever, at the end of the day, who really cares? It's a hobby. We're having fun. Now, the fun thing about doubles is you get super fun list building options, because obviously you need to work with your teammate. Obviously, codexes are obviously different. That would be pretty boring if they were all the same. But they obviously have different units and abilities. They got armies that are really fast, armies that are really slow. and you get to smash them together and make these strange hybrid forces where one can specialize in one field and another one could specialize in another field, which is really cool. Gives you lots of chances to sort of experiment and make some crazy shit. There is another doubles event coming up, like next month, but they are doing it the opposite way, where all these rules are the opposite. So you can 100% buff each other. In fact, you gain each other's abilities. So you could play Eldar with Death Guard, and Eldar would be running around with Contagions of Nurgle, and you would have Fate Dice as Death Guard, which sounds fucking wild, and that'd be quite funny to see what happens there. But that wasn't this event. This event was a more standardized doubles sort of like event. So we don't share buffs. We're just two different armies playing next to each other on the same field. But in the discussion beforehand, making list building was quite interesting. So we were the 69th Black Crusade. That was the name we came up with for our team. Someone actually left the team names open, and prior to us starting the event, someone renamed our team. Not us. Someone else renamed our team to Disgustingly Resilient Dumbasses, which was quite funny, I won't lie. It made me giggle. But we were the 69th Black Crusade, because we have Chaos Space Marines and Death Guard, so I thought it was thematic. And remember what I said about we can't share buffs? Debuffs, however. Debuffs affect the opposing model. They don't affect allied models, they just affect the opposing model, which means debuffs actually can be shared. So in doing this, when we were making our list, we came up with a very easy 2-goal plan. My goal was to spread Contagion, including -1 toughness and -1 save, and to focus on scoring us all of the points. Hello up chat. Geek Abaddon, nice to see you, mate. Zito critting me as well, and Sam, obviously, who is my teammate for this, he's in the chat. So any questions for the CSM side, he's in the chat and he can answer them for you. So my goal was to do that, spread contagions, score points, all kinds of good stuff like that. Sam's goal, however, was a little different. I'm sorry, just shutting the door. I said to Sam, because Sam said to me, what do you need me to do? And I said damn, Sam, delete stuff. And Sam said, no problem, fam. So CSM already have crazy output. Like, that's their whole thing. They deal tons and tons and tons of damage. CSM don't really have durability, but they deal lots of damage. So if we get an army that already deals lots of damage, and then we bring another army that turbocharges people's damage, what you get is, well, this. So he went the pack-bound zealots, I think it's called. This meant that all the units he brought were Mark of Nurgle, which is thematic because we're Nurgle as well. Will have 5 up sustained in both shooting and melee. Combine that with -1 toughness and -1 save, and you get unholy damage output, as you guys will see. Now, we'll have a look at our lists very quickly, but this is basically the crux of our game plan. This was exactly what we thought would happen, and spoiler alert, we kind of surprised ourselves with how grim this could be. So, first up, my list. So, I was obviously rocking Death Guard. We have Typhus. We did bring the Plague Bus. We had 2 million Playcaster, so I did bring some damage as well. I brought a lot of Contagion, and this guy honestly reminded me why I actually like him so much. This guy's an absolute baller and did way better than I actually thought he would do. And I really missed having him in my list recently. So I was like, you know what? It's a really cool model. It's probably my favourite Death Guard model. So bringing him along for fun, slap Deadly Pathogen on him, and just let him go clapping cheeks. And boy, did this man clap cheeks. You will see. Part of that, we brought 2 squads of 5 Plague Marines. So my entire idea here was a lot of people in doubles are going to bring like a big, scary like unit. And then maybe another one, and then that's all we'll have. So I was like, I'll go wide. I'm just going to go super wide. So 2x5 Plague Marines. So just can score stuff, spread contagion. Because again, my entire role, spread contagion, score points. So 2x5 instead of 1x10. 2 squads of 10 cultists. We all know Scout is amazing. Spreading contagions, playing objectives. That's really good. 1 squad of 3 Death Shroud Terminators. Because one thing I noticed when I play Death Shroud, 3 Death Shroud Terminators has a weird melee output. It's good, but sometimes it's not enough. And the easiest way to fix that is to add a lot of contagion. Because a lot of contagion slaps so goddamn hard on his own, he makes up for all the shortcomings of having just 3 man. So if you ever take a 3-man unit, I actually really recommend a lot of contagion, because he blew my mind out how good I just remember him being. Because I haven't played him in a while, I took him out of the list, not because he was bad, but because I wanted to overwatch threats. Putting him back in, reminds me how good this index is. Like, there is really not bad units. Everyone looks over a lot of Contagion, and he's still super good, as we'll see. On top of that, 2 fetid bloat drones, also rapid ingress plays, and deep strike. It's always good to have some Terminators. 2 fetid bloat drones, again, 90 points, really good durability. You've got the flamers, you've got the overwatch threat, you've got the anti-infantry. You can fall back, shoot, charge, do all the actions. Obviously not for much longer with Pariah Nexus, but right now in this event, it was, you know, obviously Leviathan. So it was really good to have them. Chaos Rhino, because honestly you can't leave home without one. And a unit of Nurglings, because they're great utility, and also having an infiltrating unit is it's pretty good in case you come across an army that has infiltrating units. Not that that's going to be relevant at all, foreshadowing, but it's just great utility, and worst case you can put in reserves, just deep strike him in and score some objectives. So this was my list. Again, focus on playing objectives, spreading Contagion, and basically trying to focus on getting points and setting up those big debuff auras for Sam. So Sam, on the other hand, was told kill stuff. So Sam was like, I got you, fam. So Sam brought along the Pact Bound detachment. So this is the one that lets him mark his units with like Mark of Nurgle and stuff. These are all Mark of Nurgle, by the way, which is going to give all of these units sustained 5+, both shooting and melee. So here's a Warpsmith, who compulsory character. He's also kind of useful because he gives +1 to hit and repaired a few things, which is quite nice. But he has 2 Chaos Predator Destructors with twin las cannons on the side. 2 Chaos Vindicators, which I really wish we had access to Vindicators after this. A Hellbrute, which then would give everything in his aura lethal and sustained 5s. So that's all these getting lethal and sustained 5s. And then a Forge Fiend with a triple Ectoplasma Cannons, who's also going to be lethal and sustained 5s. Now, combine this with Death Guard -1 toughness and -1 save. All of this stuff is horrendous. The Forge Fiend is now AP4, flat 3 damage. The Vindicators are all AP4, D6 damage. And the Predator Destructor is also AP3 versus Infantry and AP5 on the last cannons, which is pretty nuts. It also made me realise there's no point me bringing anything like a Predator, because his Predators are the same as mine, identical, but his are just better because they get the lethal, the sustained 5s. Mine don't get the sustained 5s, his do, therefore his are just mathematically superior because he's also benefiting from my Contagions. So this was the plan. I do the spready, I do the scory, he kills everything, okay? Remember that going forward. So let's get into the first game. So round 1, we come across Team Infiltrators and Deceptors. So remember that comment about infiltrating? Yeah. We have Minus Calgar, Phobos Librarian. There was actually a Primaris Lieutenant I forgot to put on there because he was part of Calgar's crew. 10 Assault Intercessors, which the Intercessor has, the Lieutenant, has joined with the Blade-driven Deep enhancement. So that 10 Assault Intercessors with Calgar and the Lieutenant has Infiltrate, which is quite scary because Calgar can advance and charge. 5 Infiltrators with the Phobos Librarian, so you know, big 12-inch no deep strike and also Lone Op, which is quite good. 3 squads of Eliminators, 2 with the Las Fusils, 1 with the Bolt Snipers, and a Ballistus Dreadnought. And then his ally, which was playing the Deceptors detachment for Chaos Space Marines, which allows him to infiltrate up to 2 units of Legionnaires and 2 units of Cultists in this points level. So all that's going to be infiltrating. So we've got basically everything in this army infiltrates part of the Ballistus. Literally everything infiltrates. Part of the Chosen as well, but the Chosen are going to sit in a Rhino. So the Chaos Lords are joining the Legionnaires and a unit Chosen. Chaos Sorcerers joining the other squad of Legionnaires. 2 Cultist squads that are also going to have Infiltrate. And of course a Chaos Rhino there. So lots and lots of Infiltrate. And first round up was Dawn of War, Take and Hold. So Hold 1, 2 and 3. Standard UK TC terrain this event. So as you can see, standard layout, Dawn of War deployment. Now, me and Sam, obviously, seeing this list, we're like, we need to stop them getting so aggressive on us. Because if this army wants, it can actually infiltrate the entire army, par the Rhino and the Ballistus. So that is somewhat worrying. You don't want that in your face turn 1. So we win the roll off for first drop, and the first thing we do is we get our Nurglings and we put them just about here. But now we spread them out quite a bit. So they're actually, we've put them down next to this, like here, to spread out so that the 9-inch aura is pushing back as much as possible. So they're at maximum coherency spread across this objective. The reason we've done this is because we want to make this bottom left area of our deployment relatively safe from any turn 1 pressure. That means we can put stuff here and not have to worry about it too much. So Our opponent starts putting down their units. They put a cultist brick in the middle, so they infiltrate on theirs. They have sticky objectives on the cultist as well. And then we kind of like start matching it tit for tat. So I start putting up cultist screens. So I've got one going across here as much as possible, sort of like protecting our home objective. And then we put our other one here. So we're just trying to screen our home objective as much as possible, because that's going to let Sam have a place to put a lot of his scary units. That's going to stop them getting tagged and charged turn 1, because they'll have to go for a cultist screen. Our opponent's put another cultist brick down on the right objective, and then the actual units are going to start dropping now. So we get a ballistus at the back there. Sam puts his Forge Fiend nice and central here, because again, that's going to give him really nice firing lanes to be able to move out and shoot, and he's nice and protected. I'm actually worried about turn 1 pressure in this game, so I actually keep the Death Shroud on the board and I deploy them with the Lord of Contagion on the board, because if Marnius Calgar or Legionnaires wants to come running at my home objective, I'm going to have a unit there that's going to clap back real fucking hard. And that was the whole point of them being there. So then our opponents start dropping down. They put their Rhino back here, because that's the only thing that can't infiltrate, with the Chosen inside it. We start putting our spitters down on the right side here, so we put down 2 bloat drones. The reason for the bloat drones is if our opponent tries to pressure us on the side, because Sam is going to put a Predator down here. Obviously, there's going to be some nice, nasty Overwatch for us to help out with, and also if they try and charge my guys, and I'm just going to make me a bit smaller a second. Sorry, guys, I didn't see that. If they want to charge our bloat drones, obviously we have fallback, shoot and charge, and there's a good chance I survive like 10 Legionnaires. It's not the worst in close combat. It's going to chunk me, but it won't kill me. We also put the Hellbrute back with the Forge Fiend, so the extra, all the buffing abilities are going to go off there. Our opponent puts down his Eliminators on top of this building, and a squad about here. They put one back there actually. So they're just getting to, las fusils, nice like lit las cannon sort of things. We put a Vindicator at the back now. Sam keeps doing this because he's a bit of a dick with it. Obviously, you have the Nurgle strat, which if you target a Nurgle unit, which this guy is, all his army is, if the opponent goes to shoot him, he can use a stratagem, gets -1 to be hit, and he also gets loan up 18. So Sam can always, in every game, leave one unit in the open, and if our opponent is stupid enough and they move out like this to shoot it, he then activates loan up, and our opponent then stood in the open like a muppet. So that's something you'll see Sam doing a lot during deployment. So this is the bait Vindy, the Vindibator. That sounds weird, but we're gonna go with it, the Vindibator. I put my Plague Bus down here because my entire goal is I want to take this left. That is like the one I can defend the most, and that is the one I want to try and hold on primary. Typhus in reserves. The Warpsmith obviously drops down with the squad over here, so he can like repair. He's got loan up as well, so he can't get shot, so he's happy. The other Predator is going to be in... one second. We have Vindicator over here again, because again, he can't pressure this side because the Nurglings are blocking all of the movement there. So this Vindicator is nice and safe. The Plague Marines are obviously inside the Plague Bus. And then his other Predator, I believe, was about here. Chilling out here, because then he started to push out here, yeah. Opponent had Infiltrators on the home. He had a squad of Legionnaires with the Infiltrate move here. He had another squad of Legionnaires pushed back because the Nurglings back up to here with the Eliminators and the Rhino, the Chosen in it. He had his Assault and Intercessors with Calgar in here, because again they had Infiltrate. The Chosen are inside his Rhino, and the other squad of Eliminators are also in here with Calgar and co. So... we have basically made sure that we have screens up, so even if they get turn 1, there's no charge that are going to get into our backline. They'll just murder cultists. We've set up a counter charge in case they get first turn with this, and the 2 bloat drones can obviously come out and spray quite a lot. And we've basically defended one of our flanks completely from infiltrating stuff, so we can actually make a push on this side here. So we roll off. We're playing tactical, by the way. I do have a breakdown of all of the objectives turn by turn, so we can again, thankfully, Sam actually keeps track far better than I do. So Sam has actually got the full scoreboard, and we're going to use that to sort of go through the game. So we actually got first in this game. We got first turn, which is quite good, because it means we're going to get some scouts now. We obviously can't scout close because we've got to stay 9 inches away. So instead, we just push the scouts out a bit like this. That's all we really do to sort of get some movement going. Part of that, our opponent then doesn't have any scout moves to make, so we obviously begin the game. So first turn we get Assassination and Overwhelming Force. So we've got 2 units of cultists still in the open, so they're looking pretty juicy for us to shoot here. Now, Sam manages to drive his Vindicator like this, to here, and he can actually get a bead on a Assault SS who's sticking his bum out from the angle, because again he's tried to fit a large amount of models in this ruin, and one guy is having to stuck out, so he managed to get an angle there. My cultist basically then moved forward to here, going for a charge into his cultist, and also becoming like a mobile wall to keep this Vindicator safe. The whole plan is hopefully shoot the cultists a bit, charge them, and then after the charge we can maybe like block the wall so the guys can't get out as easy. They'll have to come around the wall. This squad moves up to the wall. Again, they're just going to go and try and charge this middle unit here, and again kill some more cultists for us. The Plague Bus jumps out 5 Marines with advance onto the point here, and the Nurglings shift left. Now the Nurglings, we measure out an inch from the wall, the side of the board, and then we put a base, we put a Marine base, so we get a 32mm base, put it against the edge of the board, then we measure an inch from that, and then we put the Nurgling there and move it a slight bit closer to the edge. What this means is there's no way a 32mm base can get down the side of these Nurglings without going within 1 inch of them, which you can't walk past engagement range. So these Nurglings perform like a barrier like this. And what this means is Sam is free to move his Vindicator up like this, and he can see the very edge of this Rhino. It's sticking out a bit because the angle he's got, and this Rhino's in here, so he's going to be able to shoot that. And I drive Plague Bus round to out here, because again, I'm not too worried. The ballistas can't shoot me at my angle. It can shoot Sam, but again, he can always loan up it if he wants to. I stay a bit safer because obviously I can't. Everything else of ours kind of like just shuffles up a bit. Kind of like to move out like here. Because again, we've only got the ballistas with long range shooting. All the las fusils are strength 9, so it's not as scary to us. And then this predator sort of like just moves here. Again, we're not too worried at this point. My bloat drone comes out here again just to sort of put some pressure. This predator moves here, and this one comes up behind as well. So we go for the shooty bang bang. The Vindicator lands a shot onto these Assault Initiators here, and I think he kills like 6 of them. Vindicators are just gross, especially with sustained 5s, and Sam would keep getting like 4 shots and then coming out with 7 hits. It was kind of stupid. So these guys take quite a beating. So those Sentinels are hurt. I shoot into the cultists here with my cultists, do a bit of damage to them, only kill like 3, don't get too much. I fire 1 flamer, just the one, because you don't have to fire all your weapons, so I just fire 1 flamer, because it's not twin, it's 2 plague spitters. I fire 1 of the plague spitters into this unit here, and do a bit of damage, so they're nice and weakened, and then obviously now I'm not going to shoot them anymore, because I want to make this charge now into here, which will be quite good for us. I think I have a cultist or 2 sticking out the side here. He takes some pot shots at the middle. Again, I'm looking at the charge to kill most of these guys here. We don't want to we don't want to shoot them because I want to charge and then like again block movement. So we're not shooting them off particularly. But the Rhino over here does actually end up getting popped as well by the Vindicator. So now the chosen unit is out, which is really good for us. So turn 1, then we do our charges. So we go charge into here, and we do actually manage to kill all the cultists with our cultists over here. And then we charge into the middle here, and we leave a single goddamn cultist alive, which is quite annoying because we have overwhelming force, which means we're actually not going to get 5 points. We're only going to get 3 points on overwhelming force because we killed 1 unit on objective, not 2. But again, we didn't want to risk them making the charge harder because I really wanted to get the move block off because that's more important because we're about to get a lot of pressure on us. So at the end of that turn, we obviously don't score Assassinate, but we do get overwhelming force of 3. We keep Assassinate because there's a character in here, a character here, and a character over here. And they're all going to now put pressure on us, so them coming forward with those units is basically going to guarantee us Assassinate next turn. So we keep Assassination. So our opponents decide, fuck it, go for it. They enact the plan, basically. So these Legionnaires come out to here. I think it's a bit closer. The Ballistas comes out to the side here to take some shots. The Chosen again move out, and the Legionnaires, so we got a lot of pressure over here now. We have Legionnaires and Chosen, big full max units moving out. Now remember, our screen is basically keeping this Vindicator alive at the moment. It can't charge the Vindicator because the Nurglings are spread out in the way, and we've created a weird 2-inch gap between the closest Nurgling and the closest Plague Marine, so they can't walk between the gap either. The Ballista Dreadnought comes out to shoot either the Predator or the Vindicator, depending on which one he lone ups. Calgar and co move around, and they're just going to come and like chop up my cultists, and these guys are here to shoot my cultists as well. These guys pop onto the top of the building, these guys hop onto the top of the building here to get some last fusel shots. So Our opponents drew on their objectives. Let's have a quick look. Also, how is everyone doing in the chat? Hopefully you're having a nice day today, and hopefully let me know if you do enjoy these event recaps, because they are quite cool to do. But obviously I want to make sure like it's still good and enjoyable for you guys, and if you get a bit bored of it, just let me know. So my opponents drew engage on all fronts and investigate signals. So this squad back here moved to the corner to do investigate signals up here. And engage on all fronts they're pretty much going to get, because they're going to charge this unit down here. So our opponent shoots all this Legionnaire squad into 10 cultists. Obviously that's a lot of guns, kills the cultists. Over here the Chosen fire into the Nurglings and kill all of them, which is to be expected, to be fair. The Las Fusels do shoot. Now he goes to shoot the Predator down here. The Predator having a 3-up save, we decide to loan up that guy. And the Vindicator over having the 2-up save plus cover because of how it's like lined up with this ruin. Manages to tank the Ballistic Dreadnought. I think he takes like 4 damage, but he's pretty good. And then that's pretty much all the damage. The Las Fusels have been only strength 9. Don't put any wounds onto the Vindicator. The ones down here I think managed to put some wounds onto the Forge Fiend maybe. Or I think it was possibly the Dark Pact he failed that damaged it. But again, we got a Warpsmith there who's going to repair that up nicely and fine. These Legionnaires then charge into my Bloat Drone over here. They trail back to keep a guy on the objective. Over here, the Legionnaires charge into my Plague Marines. The Chosen try to do a double charge into the Plague Marines and the Vindicator with the stratagem that gives them +2 for that. But unfortunately, they don't manage to get it because it's quite a long charge. It's like a 9, so it goes down to like a... it was like a 10 and it went down to an 8. But unfortunately, didn't get it. But we still do have like a bunch of Chosen. We have a Vindicator and a Plague Bus. These Plague Marines get mauled in close combat because, again, there's a lot of attacks coming in. So we have a Vindicator and a Plague Bus staring down 10 full squad of 10 Chosen with a Chaos Lord and 10 Legionnaires with a Sorcerer. The Bloat Drone over here actually lives on 1 wound, which is pretty inepic. Quite nice. Oh, this cultist fell back. Which is quite nice and good for us because obviously I can then fall back, shoot and charge still, which is really, really nice. Marnia's Calgar obviously like absolutely obliterates my... cultists, and then they charged in a way that he was behind the wall to obviously try and hide from this here Predator and the Forge Fiends as much as possible. So they do get engaged because this unit down here is scoring engage for this quarter. I think these guys are too close to the middle, so they don't get full engage, they get mini engage, and they get 1 investigate signals. So our turn comes along, and now obviously with our 6-inch contagion, it's going to start kicking a bit more, and we're going to see like the damage kind of ramp up a bit. So this Bloat Drone falls back over to here. CSM Vindicators are sick, wrecked my rounds and Big 12 ones. Yeah, mate, they hit. They are so scary. Those Vindicators are awful. Vindicator here drives up. Plague Bus also drives up. We get another 5 Plague Marines out onto the objective, just in case. This Predator moves up. My Lord of Contagion, the Death Shroud, move through this wall to go for a charge on Calgar. The Forge Fiend walks upwards. Hellbrute walks up. This Vindicator drives to like the middle here. The Warpsmith stays with them. My other Bloat Drone sort of moves up to here. The Predator stays still. And we commence to open fire. Oh, and Typhus dropped in back here. The Vindicator shot into the Chosen and basically killed the entire unit. I think he left it on 2 guys. And Typhus then shoved some mortal wounds into it as well, and it was pretty much dead at that point because I think he shot like this Predator I think was more like here, and he then shot the autocannon which finished like the last guy or something. So they actually got just instantly deleted. It was pretty gross because he's getting D6 plus 3 shots, plus then blast bonus for 2, plus every 5 up to hit is going to be sustained. So he absolutely eviscerates that. Now, not wanting to be outdone on this, because that was pretty impressive, I was like, let me show you what I can do. Plague Bus opens up into the 10 Legionnaires plus Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Boom, deletes them. So these 2 tanks have just deleted the entire left side of our opponent's army in one, which is pretty grim. All the little shitty shots from all of these tanks and the las cannons went up at these eliminators and murdered them. The right side, the Predator, the Vindicator, and the Forge Fiend eradicated all of these guys here. And he mercifully left me Calgar. He shot Calgar with a couple things. He killed them all but Calgar on like 3 wounds. But Calgar was alive, so I was going to go and hit Calgar a bit. So I then roll a charge. I actually manage to make it. The Lord of Contagion goes in, and the Lord of Contagion twats Calgar for 12 damage, and actually just like obliterates him. This Forge Fiend shot these eliminators here and eradicated them, because again, the Plasma is already AP 3 plus sustain, and it's flat 3 damage, and he's given it +1 to hit from the Warpsmith. It was pretty grim this turn. I won't lie. Like this is what we mean when we say unholy damage. Our things for this were engage on all fronts for 5. For 5 points we got, because this bloat drone fell back from combat, but up here a bit, got into this corner. And we also had Defend Stronghold, which not really worried about here, because again, I've stickied it, even though we've moved off it. Bear in mind, I have stickied it because I started my Lord of Contagion on it, which is really nice. Hello, AJ Harris. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you in the chat there, mate. How's things going? So, as you can imagine, not going too swell for our opponents here. So, in his turn, they get Defend Stronghold and Storm Hostile Objectives. So, Storm Hostile Objectives, realistically, not going to happen. This is turn 2, by the way. Just bear that in mind. This is turn 2. So, they basically, this bloat drone on 1 wound, these eliminators try to shoot it with their bolt sniper rifles, don't manage to get it. The infiltrators hop up top and also shoot some shots at it from long range, don't manage to get it. This one cultist decides to very heroically fall back. I can't really blame the poor guy. I wouldn't want to be near the Death Shroud and the Lord of Contagion either, so he runs back into there. The Ballistus obviously nudges back a bit, puts some more shots down at the Vindicator, but smoke helps us out massively, and I think it takes like 4 damage again, and it's still cooking. This guy is still going along just fine. But that's all our opponents can do, because there's literally they have at this point not like the CSM player has got a single cultist left. The Marine player is down to 3 units, which is, again, when I say absurd damage output, we basically tabled them in 1 turn, which was kind of stupid. Our turn comes along, we get, the next ones we get, obviously we score Defense Stronghold, we get Extend Battle Lines and Cleanse, so my Plague Marine's down here, I'm just going to cleanse here. This bloat drone just comes to here and cleanses that one. This bloat drone flies up into our opponent's lines just to sort of go spraying and doing stuff. Extend Battle Lines, we just get naturally because we're on every objective. This is now sticky in the middle. Death Shroud move through the building over here. My opponent does a reactive move from the charge and does move back like that. The Vindicator comes on over. The Plague Bus is starting to move on over. The Predator moves on over. All these shots just murder the Ballistus, because again it's just so much high AP damage. My what do you call it? My what are they called? My Death Shroud do make the charge. We do, obviously it's a single cultist, so we managed to like get in there, and then we kill him, and with the pylon we managed to tag some intercessors too, and we kill them all, part of the Phobos Librarian. So at this point there is just a Phobos Librarian left. These guys in the corner got shot by this Predator over here, and obviously the bloat drone, so they died as well. And everyone else is obviously just spreading out just in case we get some objectives at this point. Yeah, it's a bit grim. So our opponent on their turn 3 have a Phobos Librarian. They've stopped obviously bothering scoring at this point, because there's generally not much point for it. So they basically just concede the fact that it's over, which is, yeah, fair enough, to be honest with you. And for the rest of the game, we obviously just score. We get investigate signals, so we go, this guy comes back down here. Bloat drone goes to the corner, Typhus in that corner for 6. Bring it down, we can't score because all his vehicles are dead, and there's nothing else to kill. And then we get Storm Hostile Objective at the final one, which again we hold all of them, which you actually still score. So we do actually obviously end up finishing that guy off. So a bit brutal, a little bit brutal for sure. It did end 99 to 20. They got to hold primary once and did 1 turn of secondaries, and then they basically got tabled. And this was kind of the moment when me and Sam looked at each other and was like, dear God, what have we done? Because CSM damage output, which is already crazy high, combined with -1 toughness and -1 save, is not okay. This is kind of wild. Now, to be fair, our opponents took it really well. They were really chill about it. That's not a fun loss to obviously get. But at the same time, the question was, if you push us, how much can we potentially clap back? The answer is yes. Yes, we can clap back. So we clapped back pretty goddamn hard. And as you can see, Sam is expert at writing down names as us and them. So from now on, we will be referring to us as us and them as simply as them. So yeah, a pretty solid game one for sure, you could say that. And we're starting to get a feel now of the damage that we can kind of put out. Yeah, sure, it's fine, Sam. You did horrible things to that man. I just want to point out, my Death Shroud killed some things, and then it was just my Plague Bust that did one thing. Everything else died to Sam. Sam killed everything. It was grim. But round 2, we get Horlicks Heresy. Now, Horlicks Heresy is a team that has 2 good players on it, one of which was our Blood Angel player for our Teams event recap we did recently, Matt Charles. So now we've got more of a disgusting list, and obviously a cheating list, because as you can see, this is 2 Marine armies, so they are dirty cheaters. Matt, you heard it here first. Don't take it seriously, guys. I'm only messing. So Matt, being a Blood Angel player, couldn't resist but bring 2 squads of 10 Death Company, these big squads, both with a chaplain. So anyone that's played against Death Company, absolute freight train of unit, hits like an absolute truck, 10 melter pistols, 10 power fists, rerolling all hits all the time, strength 10, AP 2, 2 damage on the charge with access to +1 to wound, all that stuff. It slaps whatever it touches. Very scary. He's got 2 squads of scouts, 2 squads of jump assault initiators as well to complement that. So he's got a bit of scoring units, but the main meat of his list is obviously the 2 big 10-man jump Death Company units. Then on the other side, we have an Ironstorm list. We have a Black Templars Ironstorm, rocking a Tech Marine, 2 Gladiator Reapers, 2 Gladiator Lancers, and 2 Predator Destructors. So obviously we've got, shit tons of Space Marine tanks, backed up by some really strong melee units with Blood Angels. And our goal here, as Sam has said in chat, was to trigger Matt. Because I've played against Matt a fair few times. I always run into Matt in finals. I think Matt's like he's like the rank 1 Blood Angel player for UK. I think. I haven't checked in a while. But I always run into him in finals of Element Games tournaments. This is obviously not final, but it's the second round. And unfortunately, I have a thing where I think I tilt him a little bit because he's not got a winning record against me on that one. So, sorry, Matt. But this is going to be a harder game. We've got obviously a very disgusting, nasty list. Ironstorm is crazy good on its own. And now you're backing it up with like 2 squads of 10 Death Company. The damage output from their army is almost as crazy as our army. Almost. And to make it even worse, this is the mission we're playing. Search and destroy, and it is the supply drop. So these objectives are going to disappear on turns 3 and 4, and in the end there'll be only one objective. You get no points for holding your home objective, I don't believe. I think it's just out in the field, so home objective is worth absolutely nothing, and there's power versus secondaries. So this one's going to get a little bit spicier, and obviously it's a lot harder to score well on this mission. So we start deploying, and we drop down. Obviously, we have more stuff to drop than them. We put Death Shroud in reserves. We put Typhus in reserves. Now, first drop we do is our Nurglings into this building. That's because we want to not allow them to just put scouts on this objective down here for free. We want to push them back with our infiltrate so they can't infiltrate onto it. So if they want to do something about it, they have to move out, potentially get shot, potentially get caught in the open with the pants down. So our opponents then put scouts down here, like this, because again, they have infiltrate and scout. So he's giving himself the option, if he gets first turn, he can go for the objective. If he doesn't get first turn, he can nip behind the wall quite nicely. So it's a good smart idea. So he puts his scouts down. Then we start dropping some units. So I actually start the game with the Rhino with just 5 Marines in it, and I put it in here, like this. Oh yeah, we had a Vindicator in reserves on this one, actually. So Vindicator's in reserves on Sam's side. That's quite important, that, as you'll see. Now, I've got 5 Marines in the Rhino, and that's it. The reason for this is going to do something very scummy in a second. So he puts 5 scouts here. Again, can infiltrate behind or forward. Scout forward. I then put 5 Plague Marines behind this wall. These Marines can easily move and advance within 3 inches of the Rhino here. So we're going to completely negate 4 of their drops. So we're going to go, there we go, Plague Marines. Our opponents then have to drop. He goes Death Company back here. I then go single Plague Caster. He has to then drop again. He goes like Jump Marines here. I go single Plague Caster again, and he goes Jump Marines down here. So we've basically managed to get 4 drops of information for free because there's no indirect to threaten them not being in the Rhino, and we've got a position where turn 1 we can just simply move and advance towards the Rhino and embark inside it. So we managed to get a lot of information. The drops there, waste a lot of our opponent's sort of like resources, and allow us to get a little bit of an information advantage. So they go Def Company again, so there's both Def Company behind this wall here. I then put down a bloat drone behind here, like this wall here for my guys. Then Sam puts down I believe he puts down his Forge Fiend on our home objective. And again, I wanted a Marine unit on here to start so I could sticky it as well, because sticking it's just useful because it means that Sam doesn't have to worry about this Forge Fiend sitting back here. You can then start pushing it, especially because our opponents put nothing in reserves. They're all on the table, which is really nice. They put a Tech Marine on home. We then put I believe we get a Vindicator, and we put him behind, was it here? I think you put it. It was either here or up here. But it was somewhere on the left side of the board here. Our opponent then starts putting his Reaper. So he puts one Reaper up here. We put a Cultist unit right here on the line, because again, it can scout into the building, which is quite nice for us. He then gets his second Reaper and sort of like cuddles with that Reaper up there. So it's like that. So those Reapers having a nice cuddle up there. We get our second unit of Scouts, and we put them on the line here, because again, we can scout and make stuff happen, which is potentially pretty good. We go into a Hellbrute, who goes chilling behind this wall here, like that. Predator relaxes here, hiding behind the wall, but basically him and this Lancer are having a stare off. If one person moves out, the other one can get an angle. So if this Lancer moves out to here to shoot down this lane, the Predator pops out and shoots it, and vice versa. If Sam then pops out to get this angle or this angle, the Lancer can sort of respond to that. So there's kind of like a little Wild West standoff going on with these two units here. Then the other Predator, I think, was he just chilling back here, Sam? You gotta help me out on this one, because the Predators are a little confusing to me. I know I put my bloat drone here. Now this bloat drone was risky, but because obviously these Reapers could come in, but at this point the Lancers are down. He's got his other Lancelet back here. So the only thing I get shot by is like Lancers coming around this corner, which again, not the greatest for killing bloat drones, so I'm okay with that. And him being here means that if we get turn one, potentially, get some pressure going up here. Because if I manage to move out to like here, and then my opponent wants to then, on his turn, move to challenge the objective, I'll get overwatches and stuff like that. So we go basically right here with bloat drone, which is quite nice. So he's overlapping with the Cultist. The Cultist obviously just a little bit in front of him. Then we have our Tech Marine, who just kind of comes and chills down here with his boys, because again, he's alone up, doesn't really matter. And then I think that's about right. Yeah, Predator was near the boss, yeah. Predator was near the boss, yeah, up here. So yeah, and our opponent goes Predator as well, and then Predator sort of behind here as well. So that's going to be quite an interesting one. Now at this point, we obviously find out which objectives are staying, which ones aren't. We find out this bottom one is going to disappear first. This second one is going to disappear last, and the last objective that will remain and be 15 points at the end is this one here. So this is priority for us. We want to really make sure we get this. These scouts here. So we actually win the roll-off, which isn't always great on this mission, because it means that obviously that being worth 15 points last turn, our opponents can just wait for it. But it just means we get to do scouts first, which is quite nice. So this unit here, scout straight forward, stickies this objective here. Because again, you can get up to this objective which is quite nice. So we get onto this objective here with a scout move, and we scout move out here to sort of start going and pressuring down this way. Opponent obviously then just tucks back, as we said before. So comes to our first turn. We've gone tactical once more, because tactical is doing us really well, especially with the scoring, and we think we can outscore them with tactical because we have more scoring units. Me and Sam's plan was to kill the scoring shit, so these little things, because then all he's going to have is two big squads of Def Company and the tanks, and if the tanks having to do actions and things like that, then it's going to be a lot less damage coming at us, so that's the plan there. So hopefully limit the damage by forcing those units to have to do actions. So first up, we get overwhelming force and behind enemy lines. So overwhelming force, we're obviously not going to score because we're not going to kill anything back here. But behind enemy lines, we decide, you know what, we might be able to do something here. So these cultists move up, like here, and they decide to go for a bit of a Hail Mary charge. Again, I'm going to try and charge this Reaper, and that'll get me into the deployment, basically. Is it great? Not really, but it's the best we can kind of do at this point. So we're going to try and do that. The Nurglings can't get there. These cultists just move and advance into this building. I'm okay at this point to trade these guys, because if my opponent trades for these units, for his scoring units, I have way more scoring stuff than they do. I've still got I still got 2 squads of 5 Plague Marines. I've got Bloat Drones to do scoring. If these die, they really lose in scoring. So we're kind of happy with that. Same kind of up here. Bloat Drone moves and advances and managed to get just like here-ish, which is quite nice. Sam brings the Vindicator here. Again, bear in mind that can always just be low enough if it wants to. The Vindicate, this Predator tucks in a bit so he can't get an angle. He stays with him. And we basically kind of play a little cagey this turn. We're like, okay, we don't want to give up too much. We can score the best we can here, and we'll just see what happens. So we make the charge, and the great thing is we make the charge with enough that basically we can get within range of the Reaper, but we rolled the perfect amount where we can't base it. This means we're going to get a full pile-in, and we managed to touch both Reapers on the arse end. So both of these Reapers now are in combat, and that means next turn, if they want to move, basically they're going to give up shooting, which means that the Cultists are going to be there, and they're going to have to get someone else to deal with them. Or they stay where they are and shoot the Cultists, which is fine by me. I'm happy for them to sort of stay there and just like kill the Cultists. But we do get one in behind enemy lines, which is quite nice, so we get some points. Our opponents then, they do actually end up taking the bait. All this comes over here. They go to kill us with both Cultists, both Scouts and the Assault Intercessors. The Scouts are too worried to come out from behind this wall because the Overwatch is there. That was the whole reason we wanted this little dude here, which is really nice. And we're quite happy with that. We're like, okay, cool. The Reapers decide to stay in combat. Everything else sort of shuffles up a bit. Like this. This guy comes to like here. This Lancer comes to like here. Not too much happening really. This Lancer tucks into here because again he's worried of like Sam coming out next turn or shooting the crap out of it. I think this Predator actually drives to Predator drives that down here actually. So they go for their shooting, obviously kill the Cultists, pretty simple. They charge into here, and even with the Nurglings for the... we were -1 save for all these games, by the way. So even with the -1 at Nurglings attacks, we obviously do get wiped from these guys because it's a lot of damage coming from them, especially into chaffy things like that. But we're actually okay with that. I'm not too worried at this point. Bloat Drone does live at the top, which is really good for us because that's going to give us some more pressure next turn. Our opponents drew extend battle lines and capture, so they do get extend battle lines for this objective down here. Now, one interesting thing is this Dev Company is flowed to the middle. They didn't take this middle off me because the Cultists scouted onto it before the game. This is stickied. So we actually hold this objective this turn, which is actually quite important. It's going to get us some primary. It gets us 5 on primary. Because bear in mind, home is worth nothing in this game. So they're there off the board. They're back in the Rhino with the casters. So that's really good for us. So our turn comes along, we get Defend Stronghold, which is literally basically impossible for them to touch unless they want to like try and like supercharge these guys, but it's probably not going to happen. So we get, like I said, we get Defend Stronghold and Secure No Man's Land. We get Secure for 1 for free because this is sticked. So I send out 5 Plague Marines to hide behind this wall as best as possible to take over this point here. So this point here is now not too bad. That's like taken over by us. So we'll get Secure No Man's Land for max. I move this Bloat Drone around. The whole point is I wanted to move him around, charge the Reapers, and basically cause the same situation where they're stuck in combat. As he goes round, he pops Overwatch with the Lancer. Unfortunately, the Lancer gets the bloody double 6 with Oath at the moment, and it does kill it on the Overwatch, which is unlucky. But it's also kind of going to free us up a little bit for something like to come in, which, surprise, ends up being a Vindicator. This guy shows up from reserves, and he's ready to put some damage into the opponent here, which is quite nice. The Predator moves out like this, and the Ectoplasma Forestry moves out like this, and this Hellbrute sort of joins them like that. All this shooting down here with the sustained 5s absolutely wipes out these guys. It's not even close. Like, they all get absolutely obliterated there, which is great for us. Now, one good thing I did pre-measure, because after the Overwatch is when I got these Plague Marines out, I pre-measured it and found out that with the movement they've got, only 1 Reaper maximum will be able to shoot these Plague Marines because of how I've positioned them. So I was like, okay, I can take 1 Reaper. I reckon if I get -1 to hit a summit, I'll probably be able to survive 1 Reaper. So we're okay with that. So we move out there, which gets us extend battle lines for, secure no man's land for max, because again we stick in the middle, so that's 2 there. We've killed our opponent off the primary, which is really good. It means they're going to get 0 primary for their turn, which is really nice. Sam does a shot. I think they pop smoke and armor of contempt, and it does make this thing live, which is a bit unlucky. but it is what it is. Obviously, we have a Vindicator here now, which is really nice and causing problems for our opponent. So, happy days. Our opponent didn't move out because, again, they were scared of the scouts. Now, our opponent's turn, these guys actually charged the bloat drone the previous turn, apologies, and then they got shot by this Vindicator and died. They didn't kill the bloat drone. The bloat drone fell back, was looking to fall back, shoot and charge. So I wanted to fall back, shoot the scouts with the sprayers, charge these guys. The Lancer connected with the Overwatch and killed it. But the Vindicator did trade for the assault jump intercessors. So again, our opponents are running out of scoring stuff, which is what we wanted. That's really what we wanted. So our opponent's turn, they pick up the cultist scouts to go back in reserves. They do get on their secondaries, deploy teleport homers and secure no man's land. So they put the guys in our backfield, which is, fair enough to deploy teleport homers. It is what it is. And then they decide to sod off the objectives and just go for the kill, which is, admittedly pretty decent. These Death Company come all the way flying down here. So these guys want to go for maximum damage into our units here. The second one takes over their staging point, and then the Lancer here moves like this, I think. And then like that. So yeah, they're all looking to shoot this Vindicator here. And this Reaper over here moves up. And again, the sort of like roadblock happens where the other Reaper and the Predator just can't seem to get out just yet. I think this Predator even comes down here. Now, our opponent opens fire. Sam pops lone up on this Vindicator down here, which is great because it's baited this Lancer to absolutely waste its shots. And this one as well, because they're not within 18. The Predator does shoot and does some decent damage to it. Now, I have rapid ingress, my Death Shroud, into this building here. Now, I thought this objective, I got confused. I thought this objective was the one that's going to stay next turn and not disappear. So originally I just rapid ingress Typhus just to sticky it and walk away. But it turns out this is the one that's going to disappear, so I'm not going to hold it. They let me take back and swap, basically just swap my unit to the Lord of Contagion, because I'd rather have a unit that can rapid ingress and do damage, rather than just sit there looking like a dumbass. Which is nice of them. Now these Death Company have strung back and unsticky to this objective, which is fair enough. And then the shoot stint begins. So these Reapers open up. I live with a single goddamn Plague Marine, which is fucking huge, because now this objective, which is worth so many points at the end of the game, is going to be stickied. So that is going to be stickied. And again, he can't be shot from anything else, because that was the whole plan. We give him -1 to hit. Even with oaths, he lives with like 2. He's still 2 wounds, but he lives, and that's really important. So I am 100% going to auto-pass. Well, I was debating auto-passing morale over here, because again, that would sticky it, which would be huge. But then we also realised maybe there's a better use for the CP. And Plague Marines do get that +1 leadership if they're on an objective that they control, which he does. So he would be leadership 5, which is pretty good odds to pass. Now, some shots come down at this Vindicator. Again, it's 2-up save with cover. It doesn't really care too much. It's fine. Nothing really gets damaged. This charge does happen though, and they get into all the Hellbrute, the Wartsmith, and the Predator, and these 10 Death Company kill all of it, which is obviously pretty scary. And then it was close to that 6-inch consolidate. They do also manage to tag the Hellbrute, which is obviously not brilliant. This guy drove back last turn as well, because I remember him being here because he was shooting upwards as well to control the area. So the Hellbrute, fortunately, is now tagged. So that was a big loss there. We did take a big hit on damage. Death Company again hit like absolute trucks, but again, not too bad. Our opponents only scored deploy teleport homers, and they got 0 on primary. And at the end of this turn, they're also still on no objectives, so they're going to get 0 on primary again next turn, which is pretty fucking good for us. So our turn comes along. Predator just drives down here. Again, we need to make sure these Death Company die. Plague Bus comes along to sort of join in the fun. They are within 9 of the Plague Bus, so I'm going to get Contagion on them. So these Death Company now all being Contagioned, because it's turn 3 now. We have stuck. I didn't take the auto morale, which is a bit of a risk, but we did nail the 5 upon the leadership. So this is now happy days stuck, which is really good for us. We get this turn, deploy homers and attempting target. Now, our opponent picks the center of attempting target, and obviously homers is homers. Now, we decide this turn to basically fuck off objectives, because we were like, if we can cripple it, this game can end here. So we fuck off the objectives. We have single dude here. Hi Brian, how you doing, dude? I'm glad you enjoy these recaps, mate. I enjoy making them. I hope people do enjoy them. I know I haven't seen anyone really do this format, which I'm quite proud of. Like, this is like become my little thing, and I'm quite proud of it. So I hope it kind of makes it a bit more immersive and interactive for you guys to sort of see the units moving around. Obviously, it's not one-to-one recreation, but I do hope you guys enjoy the little recreations we do as best to kind of helps you like sort of like visualize and imagine the game a bit more. So we move this little dude here. We move and advance him out. Again, we're looking for contagion. Our opponent knows what he's doing, and it's a single marine, and they really don't want to overwatch it, and they decide not to. But the reason we did it, our opponent has 2 command points here. Death Company have a 2 command point fight on death. I'm coming for them with my Death Shroud. If they overwatch this single Plague Marine, they will have 1 command point left for this death, and that means no fight on death here. So they can't overwatch. So this little 1 Plague Marine moves and advances and puts contagion on both of these Reapers here. So, we got out 5 Marines before that thing drove off with the Plaguecasters in it. So he comes around to here, he comes around to here. We drop Typhus onto the point as well. We're trying to make this point mine now. And I'm like, right, we're going to kill this tank here. So that's the plan there. This Vindicator moves up to here and preps to shoot at the Reaper as well. And down here we're prepping to sort of like shoot at these Death Company, and obviously our Death Shadow moved in. The Vindicator sort of moved up and is ready to try again to sort of pop this Predator here. Although this guy's like moving along with the Predators and stuff. I think he's up here. He's actually up here. So we open fire now. Anyone that has watched the live stream, the stream battle I did against Blood Angels, we know what the Plague Bust does to Death Company. So now imagine what Plague Bust, a Predator, and a Forge Fiend does to Death Company, and these guys go a la bye bye. So big chunk of the Blood Angel army just ripped straight out. A lot of their damage output, their big like 350 point units, is gone. Great for us. Vindicator shoots, AP4. Boom, it goes bye-bye. Especially helped out with Typhus with some mortals and some cheeky shots. And we also do some damage to this one, but we don't kill it. Which is really nice, so that's good. We leave these scouts alive. They're a bit annoying, but it is what it is. This Vindicator takes a shot again. This time the Predator isn't so lucky, and this Predator gets blown sky high, which is really nice for us. Again, we're fobbing off all of the objectives this turn. We're like, fuck it, we don't care. I go for the charge into the Death Company. We nail it. Now, this is 3 Death Shroud and a lot of Contagion versus 10 Death Company and a Chaplain. I was like, okay, they're going to fight on death, they're going to kill me. But if I take out a good chunk and weaken them enough, that's fine by me. My Lord of Contagion kills 6 of them on his own. He just cleans them out. He chop everything. And the rest of the Death Shroud kill the entire unit of Death Company, par the Chaplain, who lives on 2 wounds. Okay? So they fight on death. They then obviously kill my Lord of Contagion and my Death Shroud. But the Lord of Contagion, when he takes damage, for every wound he loses, you roll a dice and deal mortal wounds. And those mortal wounds are enough to finish off the 2 wound Chaplain. So these 2 units actually smash into each other and obliterate each other. And I am fine with that. I have just traded 200 point unit for a 350 odd point unit. I am 500% okay with that. Because that there has took the Blue Angel player out of the game. He's got nothing. He's got scouts. That's it. He's gone. He's done. All they have now is tanks, and all we have to do, and bear in mind 2 Lancers are over here as well. All we have to do is hold this objective, and we have Vindicator nearby. My guys are on it, plus Typhus, plus a Bloat Drone. Plague Busts are going to start moving up. As soon as this Reaper goes down, nothing is going to be able to contest this objective over here. So totally happy with that trade. So we don't score any secondaries that turn, but we do get onto that primary objective, which is really, really important, which is really, really nice. So our opponents get their turn. They get no primary again, because again, they're not on any of the middle objectives. They're not worth anything, so they get 0 primary again. They get Assassination and Cleanse. Now, they fob off Cleanse, there's no point. They try and Assassinate, which is obviously going to be Typhus spot here. This Reaper moves up to shoot Typhus. This Predator can't get an angle on him because of where he is. This Predator, I think, just sort of like moves to here. The Lancers are sort of moving. They're trying to like make stuff happen over here now, trying to get back into the game. The Reaper opens up into Typhus and basically doesn't actually kill him, which is really good. Even with Oath's Moment, Typhus lives, so they don't even get Assassinate, which is quite big. And him living and everything else living on this point means that this is now stuck. Again, we're just securing this objective here. Opponents don't manage to get anything this turn. I think they fire. They might manage to. Oh, the scouts here do a grenade and charge this predator. It doesn't really care. I think the Lancer gets lone opt again onto the Vindicator, so it can't shoot anything. I'm not sure if it shoots back here because I think it's moved here, and it can't now shoot. He was trying his best to get back.